starting to get out of Abraham that he's not attached. He's not attached to things. Even his son, he's not attached to.
You don't need proof to ask, how do you know? Like, the burden of proof is not on me for being skeptical.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm in a pissed off mood right now, so I'll just fucking keep going if you're okay with that.
Oh, hey, me too. So let's back and forth angry. You thought we lost our primary sponsor, Prime Energy? Also sponsored by SanDisk and the Westboro Baptist Church. Thanks, Westboro Baptist Church. Y'all the best.
It's pre.
No, it's not, dude. It's pre. But what if there is a way?
Yeah, that's okay.
That's okay?
What do we got?
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Today we're going over the death of Sarah. Not a particularly long story, but the next one is pretty long, so we couldn't really combine the two stories for one episode, because the next one definitely needs its own episode, but doesn't matter. Here we go. So, again, because it is pretty short, we'll just basically read through the whole thing.
Cool.
So, Sarah lived to be 127 years old. She died at Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan, and Abraham went to mourn for Sarah and to weep over her. Then Abraham rose from beside his dead wife and spoke to the Hittites. He said, I am a foreigner and stranger among you. Sell me some property for a burial site here so I can bury my dead. So the Hittites are just a neighboring nation that are notably powerful. I think at some point in the Bible they're described as somebody that the Hebrews or the Israelites, however they're referred to, are just unable to totally dominate. Okay. That hasn't been mentioned yet, but just a little bit of context as to who they are. The Hittites replied to Abraham, Sir, listen to us. You are a mighty prince among us. Bury your dead in the choicest of our tombs. None of us will refuse you this tomb for burying your dead. So it's interesting that even though they're kind of at odds with each other, maybe not so much to this point, that they're already offering each other respect. Then Abraham rose and bowed down before the people of the land, the Hittites. He said to them, If you are willing to let me bury my dead, then listen to me and intercede with Ephron, son of Zohar, on my behalf. So he will sell me the cave of Machpelah, whatever, which belongs to him and is at the end of his field. Ask him to sell it to me for the full price as a burial site among you. Ephron and Hittite were sitting among his people, and he replied to Abraham in the hearing of all the Hittites who had come to the gate of the city. No, my lord, he said, listen to me. I give you the field, and I give you the cave that is in it. I give it to you in the presence of my people. Bury your dead. Again, Abraham bowed down before the people of the land, and he said to Ephron in their hearing, Listen to me if you will. I will pay the price of the field. Accept it from me, so I can bury my dead there. Ephron answered Abraham, Listen to me, my lord. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. Love that word, shekels. But what is that between you and me? Bury your dead. So he's saying, no, don't worry about it. So it's only 400 shekels. Take it. Abraham agreed to Ephron's terms and weighed out for him the price he had named in the hearing of the Hittites, 400 shekels of silver. So he gives it to him anyway, according to the weight current among the merchants. So Ephron's field in Machpelah near Mamre, both the field and the cave in it. I can't read today. And all the trees within the borders of the field was deeded to Abraham as his property in the presence of all the Hittites who had come to the gate of the city. Afterward, Abraham buried his wife Sarah in the cave in the field of Machpelah. That one is, that's not even my inability to read. That's a weird fucking word. Near Mamre, which is at Hebron, in the land of Canaan. So the field and the cave in it were deeded to Abraham by the Hittites as a burial site. That's the end of the story. Later, it's worth mentioning that's also where Abraham's sons bury him, which makes sense. You know, you bury him with your first wife. But anything come to your mind as, you know, no takeaways necessarily, but just anything interesting to you stand out in that story? Yeah. But before then, we nearly forgot.
You thought we didn't remember.
You thought we lost our primary sponsor, Prime Energy?
You really thought that we lost our sponsorship?
Also sponsored by SanDisk and the Westboro Baptist Church.
Thank you to SanDisk. Thank you to the Westboro Baptist Church. Every single one of our opinions align in almost every single way.
Yeah, the Westboro Baptist Church has really come around on the whole anti-gay thing. They fully align with our acceptance of the homosexual lifestyle.
Right.
Thanks, Westboro Baptist Church. Y'all the best.
Thanks, Westboro Baptist Church. We we couldn't do this without you guys. I just wanted to say thank you so much to our supporters at the Westboro Baptist Church.
Love you. I put a picture of the Equality House in the last episode when we were talking about that. Now it's painted in the trans flag colors.
Oh, man.
Which probably pisses them off even more.
Oh, it's gotta. I think we're on the same page. I don't necessarily align with the trans movement, but it's great that they're doing that in front of the Westboro Baptist Church.
I love it. As far as the whole movement goes, like just the whole pride movement, I don't like it as a movement. I have no problem with anybody living their lifestyle, but
yeah.
doesn't need to be a fucking movement. Like, just live your life anyway.
It needs to be a sedentary. But okay, yeah. Any noteworthy stuff? Well, again, I think we see Abraham in his just what's the word? I mean, wisdom is certainly a word for it, but just like, here, take these shekels. Like
he's honorable.
He's not. You know what I'm starting to get out of it? Yeah, he's honorable. I'm starting to get out of Abraham that he's not attached. He's not attached to things. Like, even his son, he's not attached to.
Yeah, but on the note of his son, that must have been an awkward walk back down the mountain, right?
So,
you want to explain that one to me, Dad?
You know I was just kidding, right, man? I knew he was going to come down the whole time. The fuck, Dad? Yeah. But yeah, I think that's when I'm starting to really... Because I think attachment is a lot more of an Eastern philosophy in a sense. Like, you hear about these Hinduism and Buddhism, and it seems maybe I'm just fucking retarded. But,
lack of attachment, rather.
Right. The theme of that is you see that more in Eastern religions. It seems like but this is making me kind of starting to realize like that's a big thing even in the Bible. And Abraham, time after time after time, shows himself not being attached to things, and that's something really powerful. I really like that about him.
Yeah, and I think that might be lost in modern interpretation of the Bible just because it's, I don't know, it seems to me that in some of we don't get a whole lot of interaction on this channel yet. It's growing, but I mean, a lot of the comments that I get are from these Bible thumping people that are just like, oh no, it's all about the eternal, man. You don't have to worry about anything in this life. It's all about preparation for the eternal. Right, and it's like, in that respect, I guess there is sort of a detachment from attachment. They are detaching themselves from their worldly possessions, but it's emphasized in a different way. Mm-hmm. It's not about detaching yourself from your possessions or whatever it may be. For now, it's for the afterlife, which I think just, like I said, it gets a little bit lost in translation there to a certain degree, just because it's less about not being attached to things now for the sake of freedom in your mind. Now it's more about detachment from this world so that you can enjoy the afterlife.
It doesn't seem like, as I don't know if genuine's the right word, it doesn't seem like it weakens the sacrifice, in my opinion. It's not as powerful as a sacrifice if you're making sacrifices now because you think you're going to get into the afterlife, as opposed to making sacrifices now because it's the right thing to do.
I would agree with that, definitely. Yeah, because it's almost like you're doing it for a payoff.
Yeah.
Whereas you could make that argument about like, well, the payoff is peace right now, but that's less of a payoff, just being at peace, than I'm going to be in paradise for all of eternity.
It's a hell of a payoff.
It is a hell of a payoff. It's certainly it seems like a much more substantial payoff than just being content with your life right now.
Right.
This promise of just eternal bliss with God in heaven. I mean, like on the episode of the flood, or I think it was just on the short about the flood, where we were talking about being prepared for catastrophe. I'm realizing that this show is just not at all for some people, which I knew going into it, but interacting with these people is just like, Jesus Christ, man, just leave the video. We're going completely over your head. Not in a we're more intelligent than you way, but just like you're not understanding the point.
Right, we're at different calibrations completely.
Yeah, we're operating on completely different wavelengths here. Like
I'd love it if you edited out. You'd say, not that we're more intelligent. We just seem like the cockiest sons of bitches. Yeah, we're not even on the same level, buddy. Okay,
we're so far beyond your level of conceptualization of this book. I know more about the Bible than you do, Joe. Okay.
I know more about the Bible than you do. Wiggly Pig 674217.
Wiggly Pig. Yeah. I was just like, worrying about these things is fruitless. Is essentially what he was. I can't remember exactly what his phrasing was, but it was basically like we're not meant to worry about these things. All we're supposed to prepare for is the eternal.
And that's what he said.
It's something along those lines.
I'm gonna pull it up if you don't mind.
No, not at all. But it's just like. And I responded, if you watch the full episode, we're making the exact point that you're not supposed to just worry about these things constantly. It's just about turning yourself into the type of person that is prepared to deal with these types of things so that you don't have to worry about them. Like, that's the point.
Yeah.
And then that's when he said, like, well, it's all about just preparing for the eternal. It's like, okay, buddy, well, you go ahead and waltz through life completely unprepared and unaware of the fact that catastrophe is a possibility. I guarantee you are going to reach the eternal much more quickly than most. Like, Jesus Christ.
It was that in the short?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah, because this is the one that I found in... This is the comment in the full episode. Jesus Christ loves you all. Repent and believe, for his coming back soon. I can recommend Mark the Messenger and Daniel Adams. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't understand comments sometimes.
Yeah, that one just kind of went over my head. I didn't that one wasn't just like you missed the fucking point, buddy. You know, that one I haven't looked into either of those people, so they might be good recommendations. I don't know. But no, I think it was on the short about the flood. We go.
So this guy says,
what's his handle?
1M King Jr.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
When you walk with God, you do not focus on these things that do not matter.
Right. Yeah. Which, like,
you want me to read them? Want me to read them out?
Yeah. You don't have to read the back and forth,
okay.
But just read his comments on there.
Okay. Worrying about whether or not something happening is focusing on things that do not matter. We are supposed to have the same spirit of faith as Christ. He was manifested in the flesh. And then he goes on to say, after you respond, Noah prepared for the flood by divine instructions and not out of fear and worry of possibility. The ark was for all who would accept God's message of salvation. Fear is worrying about things that may or may not happen. People prepare for catastrophes as if God needs help from us. Huh? There is a famine in the land, not bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. And then his last comment, we are only to prepare for eternal, not when another so-called war breaks out and another so-called food shortage. The mind that was in Christ Jesus was not concerned with any of these non-holy things.
And that's when my last reply was just facepalm.
Yeah.
Because he's literally, by those comments, you can tell he did not watch or listen to literally anything we said, because the whole point of our emphasis on preparation, and just not even preparation, specific preparation like taking action, but just being capable of being prepared for that type of thing, is that it frees you from that fear. Right. Exactly. You don't have to be afraid if you know that you're capable of dealing with it. Mm-hmm. That's the point. And I even tried to spell that out to him in the comments, and his further replies made me realize he wasn't even reading those replies with any modicum of attempt to understand them.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna make a comment on this, and I was gonna try to not justify it, but soften it by saying, I get it, or whatever. Fuck it. I'm just gonna say what I fucking think. those types of people, in my opinion, are fucking meeting one wrong person away from joining a cult as opposed to Christianity or Catholicism, whatever it is. They're the people that can be steered by just reading a passage and then just fucking wiping out everything else in their mind, and then they just come up and they say, "Thou shalt not," blah,
Yeah, it's
like reading off of a telecom or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, every response he gave was almost like he was trying to come up with a holy verse of scripture. You know, like he's commenting in Bible speak as if he's a fucking pastor, which like if that is just how you talk, then more power to you, but it's not. Yeah. Like let's have a human to human interaction here as opposed to you trying to like preach to me.
Yeah, it's like almost the equivalent if I just started saying thine going to mine house, like talking to you as if I'm in King James Bible or something.
Yeah, his verbiage initially turned me off, and then his responses and lack of actually taking into account what I was saying to him in each of those responses just turned me off of that interaction even more, which is why I stopped trying by the end. You know, it's like we're not getting anywhere here, bud.
Oh, no way you're getting anywhere.
We're never going to.
Fuck it. I'm in a pissed off mood right now, so I'll just fucking keep going if you're okay with that.
Oh, hey, me too. So let's back and forth angry.
Cool. Some of these people are like, well, I'm not trying to force my religion on you. Just, Jesus loves you, and and this is coming. And these people, they fucking they're like the fucking progressives. They're like sneaking around their words a little bit to where they're like, I'm not trying to convert you, or I'm not trying to force you onto my religion. And then you say one thing and they fucking like snap on you or want to like, they're trying to find sneaky ways to force you to start thinking the way they're thinking.
Yeah.
They don't want you to just come to your own conclusion. They want to fucking
convert you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Not all of them, but a lot of them that I met piss me off.
Yeah, no, those types of, it's like in Talladega Nights when Ricky Bobby is like, with all due respect, and I mean this with all due respect, but that opinion ain't worth a velvet painting of a whale and a dolphin getting it on. And the guy's just like, just because you say with all due respect doesn't mean you can say whatever you want. It's like, just because you say I'm not trying to convert you, but you're wrong, and this is why you're wrong, and this is why I'm right, so you should believe what I believe. But I'm not trying to convert you, though.
Right.
I'm not trying to convert you, though. But you're wrong, and I'm right, and this is why, again, and let me just repeat myself for 5 minutes.
That's exactly what it is. I have literally Halloween weekend, I was with Jake, and we were with another guy, and this guy was drunk, and he's like, he's cultish-esque in his belief of Christianity, right? Like
believes
quoting the Bible
scripture to a T.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, there's proof that the Noah's Ark exists, and there's proof that it's been around. And I'm like, well, show me the proof. And then he never pulled it up. But Jake was in the car, and we were all driving back. I was driving Jake home and this guy home. And Jake's like, well, just, in my opinion, I don't necessarily believe all of these things. Yada, yada, yada. And then this guy starts going on a tirade, and he goes, you don't know fucking shit. If you don't have any proof, or if you don't have any evidence to back up what you're talking about, how can you fucking say how can you speak against my religion, or what, like just on a tirade? And I'm like, dude, chill the fuck out, first of all. Like, this is ridiculous.
And second of all, where is your proof? Your proof is a book that was written 2,000 years ago. One single book that was written 2,000 years ago and has been translated and retranslated hundreds, if not thousands of times since it was written. Like, you're reading it in a language that it wasn't even originally written. Yeah. You know that, right? Like, and
it wasn't written in English.
Right. Like, punch literally any one sentence into Google Translate from any language to any other language, and it's going to be butchered.
Right.
Like just a normal sentence, like, hello, this is my name and this is what I do for a living. And it's going to butcher the fuck out of it. Imagine how butchered every single goddamn verse in the Bible has been over these many, many years of translation. Yeah. That's your only source of proof. That's it.
Yeah.
How are you going to get on somebody for not having proof for something you don't even need proof for. You're just raising a skeptical eyebrow at the religious beliefs. Yeah. Like, you're not saying this absolutely 100% did not happen. Right. You are wrong. This is completely fake. It's not it's perfectly reasonable to ask, how do you know?
Yeah.
You don't need proof to ask, how do you know? Like, the burden of proof is not on me for being skeptical.
Exactly.
The burden of proof is on you, who is trying to convince me that there was actually a miracle worker that existed 2,000 years ago.
Right.
And was walking on water, and that a giant flood killed everybody on Earth except for Noah and 2 of every fucking animal.
Yeah.
And so now literally every animal is the product of incest, by the way, if that's the case.
And so are we.
And so are we.
Then that's what I was trying to tell him. That's what faith is. Like in the Christian religion, that's what you're not supposed to try to prove God. And all of these Christians try to prove God, and I can prove this and I can prove that. And it's like, I thought this wasn't about proof. I thought this was about faith. Mm-hmm. And that's not what it seems like it is.
Right. Yeah, it's like your belief should be enough for you. Why do you have to convert the world? Yeah. Well, to save them. If you were actually trying to save everybody, you wouldn't be such a dick about it. You wouldn't be tirading in a fucking car to somebody who just is a little bit skeptical. Like, they're not shitting on you for believing what you believe. Like, I know you. You weren't shitting on him for, not having the same skepticism
for sure.
as you. Right. You're having a reasonable conversation with him. You are the one being an asshole. So it is on you to correct your behavior in that regard. If you want to be a true, Christ-motivated Christian, living in the way of Jesus, other than the time he whooped all those people in the fucking
temple,
in the temple, that they were gambling in, or whatever it was they were doing, scamming people. I can't remember the exact story.
They turned the temple into commerce, like they turned it into a place to make profit.
Yeah, but that, I'd say that's justified, bastardizing.
Sure.
Any location. I was going to say a temple specifically, but I mean...
Any sacred location.
Any sacred location being bastardized is a reason to be upset.
Trying to sell something at someone's funeral, it's like, hey, not the fucking time.
Yeah, but I don't think that Jesus would have had that same reaction if somebody just came to the temple and asked, hey, is it okay if we do this? And they said no, and then the guy walked away. Or if they asked, why is it not okay to do this? He wouldn't have fucking whooped them and started flipping tables.
Right.
He did that because they took it upon themselves to do something that they knew was incorrect.
Yeah.
There's such a disconnect there that they claim is not there, in that they are trying to live this Jesus-guided, God-guided, Bible-guided, just whatever you want to call it, lifestyle where you love everybody and ultimately want to preach peace, but then as soon as somebody disagrees with you, you become a vicious asshole about it and start saying that, boy, well, you're fucked. You're going to hell if you don't accept Jesus Christ as your one true Lord and Savior. It's like, that doesn't sound very loving to me, or accepting.
Yeah. And that's not what Jesus preached. Like, we can look at the New Testament and know that he didn't preach that. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not the way that he preached. He wasn't forcing things on people. It was mind-opening in a sense of, letting people come to that conclusion.
Yeah, it was very much, just going over, we haven't gotten too deep into the New Testament, but we got into the story of the crucifixion and what led up to that. And all of the statements he made were very... me-centered, this is who I am. This is what I am about. It was never, you need to do this. You need to do that. Maybe at some point there was, well, maybe you should do this because this would be proper. But there was never a, you're damned if you don't do this.
Yeah.
You're damned if you don't listen to me. You're going to hell, buddy. That's not how Jesus spoke. Even in our interpretations that we've come across in the Old Testament so far, just going through, it's not, I lost, but you said something that made me think of one of our interpretations earlier where it's, I lost my train of thought, but it doesn't matter. These stories and the religion in general are meant to guide you.
Yes.
They are not meant to compel you to try to compel others to believe what you believe. Believe what you believe, because if not, you're wrong and you're fucked. There's such a disconnect there.
Yep.
And it's frustrating.
It's extremely frustrating.
Because there's so much to be taken away from this book and just the religion in general if you don't take that bullheaded approach and turn people away from it. Because that's why so many people hate religion in general. It's because of these just balls to the wall followers that take it it's far too seriously.
They're like multi-level marketing. It like reminds me of multi-level marketing in a sense, like the way that they start off the conversation with you and they're sneaking around like these words. It just seems like that kind of vibe. Like, multi-level marketers will come to you and like, hey, what's up? And hey, like they pretend like they're going to be your friend or something. And then they never well, I guess it's a little bit different in that these bullheaded Christians or Catholics like will tell you straight up Jesus is the way, but I don't even know if I was making a good comparison there. And what I will say is like, and I fucking love my Christians and Catholics that are just like, yeah, this is what I believe. Cool. Like I fucking love those people. I'm not going to fucking force it on you. I'm not going to, we're specifically talking about these people that fucking feel a need to aggressively force their wills on you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you more about that story later.
Which
the guy yelling at Jake.
He's yelling at Jake. Yeah. Jake's like the nicest person ever.
I know. I wanted Jake to just like, because Jake was like, "Oh yeah, man, cool." Like he was being really nice, and I wanted him to just go, "Dude, shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
Slap the fuck out of him or something. But
yeah, really, especially since we know he can fight.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You have anything else, or do you have anything you want to say on the story, or we kind of went on a tangent?
We went on a bit of a tangent. I don't care. This story is loose, this show is loose.
Yep.
As far as the story goes, let's see. Well, I think like I said, I like that everybody's being very respectful to each other, even though they are like from opposing factions. Yeah. Basically, maybe part of that is just because everybody involved understands the gravity of the situation. It's like this guy's wife died, so let's all be civil here. Abraham offers money for this burial site, and they're just like, no, take it. Yeah, your wife died. Yeah, have some land. And Abraham, being the righteous man that he is like, no, let me give you something for it. So he does, and they don't just give him the tomb; they give him the cave as well as the entire like surrounding area, almost as a greater sign of respect, which. I enjoy. Mm-hmm. I enjoy that everybody was being nice and civil with each other.
Yeah, the gravitas, or not gravitas, the gravity of death here is interesting. Like, it reminds me of what you hear stories about in World War II, maybe even in the Civil War, but in World War II, the Germans and the Americans on Christmas would come together and stop the fighting for a night, and they would drink together and so on and so forth and celebrate.
World War I believe.
World War I?
Maybe also in World War II. I just haven't heard of that in World War II. The only Christmas in World War II I can think of is during the Battle of the Bulge, when I'm pretty sure the Germans gave the Americans a hell of an artillery barrage as a fucking Christmas present. But yeah, no, in World War I, they, went out into no man's land and like played soccer together. Almost. Yeah. As if to just say, like, look, even though we are on opposing sides here, like, let's just set aside our differences and recognize that we're all humans here. In a way, we are all on the same team, even though we're not in the context of this war. But we didn't start this war. We're just soldiers fighting in it. Right. So let's share a little camaraderie for a little bit.
It's interesting, like the warring tribes thing, like the little instances of that coming together. In World War I, obviously there are bureaucracies and such that are controlling what's going on. But like for this instance, let's say, it almost begs the question of like, well, why even, if you can come together for this, why can't you come together for other things? Why can't you settle your differences elsewhere if you can for this? You've proven that you can come together and settle your differences momentarily. What is holding us as humans back from recognizing that and then taking that forgiveness and then, putting it over here also?
You mean just in a general sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think as far as the real world goes, I think that people just get so wrapped up in their personal beliefs that at times it's impossible to just set that aside and be civil, which I've been guilty of in the past. I'd say I wouldn't say I'm definitely getting better about that. I mean, recently I had a back and forth on stream. Well, I say recently, it was probably like a month or more ago, but just I used the term transsexual, and it was brought up that that's actually an offensive term because transsexual was originally coined as a way to describe deviant sexual behavior, and being transgender has nothing to do with sexual behavior. It's just about your identity. And I made the points that I think transsexual for me personally is just referring to your sex, like your biological sex, not your sexual activity. And also it's just a fucking word, so like why get so bent out of shape about it?
Yeah.
And eventually I just conceded and was like, look, it's not a big deal. I didn't mean to be a dick about it. Sorry, So I think a lot of people are incapable of doing that. And not to put myself up on like a pedestal as like I can do that, because I still struggle with it sometimes. I'm steadfast in some of my beliefs, but some people are just incapable of like giving that ground and saying like, whatever, like it's not a big deal. Let's just be friendly. That I think, I don't know if that addresses your point, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. As far as the rest of the story goes, there's not, for me personally, there isn't a whole lot to take away from this story. It's, it's pretty straightforward. Sarah dies. Abraham wants her to be buried, and so he goes to talk to these people about burying her. And
yeah, why is burying so significant? Like, why is that so important? It's a strange tradition if you think about it.
It is a strange tradition. Some part of it might just be like we come from the earth and therefore we give you back to the earth. I don't know if that's what's being implied here with burial, but I mean, to me, that's the connection that I make. We're of this world, and so when we're gone, we are given back to it. I don't know. I don't want to be buried. It seems kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Just rotting in a hole for the rest of eternity. Burn me.
Oh, man. I was always terrified of like waking. I didn't realize that all the things that they put in place now so that when you're in there, you're dead. But I was terrified that I would be buried and I would be alive and I wouldn't be able to get out or anything. Oh, it's such a horrible.
Oh, well, it used to be a big problem.
Yeah, they had bells.
Yeah, they had bells.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they would have people like walk around the graveyard at night to listen for these bells being rung.
So crazy, isn't it?
Horrifying. How fucking terrifying would that be? I remember years and years ago, I was watching a show on probably Discovery Channel or one of those channels where a witch doctor type character was employed to. I can't remember what the actual chemical was that was used, but there was some sort of substance that you could basically put. I'm gonna butcher this explanation. Somebody was very mad at a man, and so they hired a witch doctor to blow this powder into his face that, when inhaled, basically made it seem like you were dead. Like to the point that doctors could not tell that you were still alive, but you would eventually snap out of it. And so the witch doctor blew this powder in the man's face. He was pronounced dead and buried. And then I can't remember what triggered the investigation to make sure that he was actually dead, or if like the woman that hired this witch doctor to do this just came clean and was like, hey, this happened. But they unburied him and found a bunch of claw marks inside of his coffin. He was dead at that point, but horrifying.
What would you do if that? What would you do
if I woke up buried alive?
Yeah.
I mean, what are my options?
Try to dig your way out.
You're in a coffin.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you do?
Maybe try to beat it open. Like, I don't know. Like, what do you do?
Oh, it's so
I mean, you've
scary.
only got like up to here as far as your wiggle room from your back to where, like, how much force can you generate?
Maybe you bite it. Maybe you start
chomping away at the wood.
Yeah, that might be your only option.
Might be your only option. Modern caskets are like
titanium.
heavy though. I don't imagine I'd be able to beat my way through that, even if I had like a hatchet at my disposal with the amount of room that I have to generate power behind it.
That is so scary.
Just panic my way to death.
Yeah, right.
Like, try to breathe as much as possible so that I run out of oxygen and just pass out and die quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably what I would do.
Yeah. I have a doozy for you. I couldn't go to sleep for a while because, like, the other night, because I was thinking about this. And I was a little high. But, you know, those, like, ducts, like a chute, like a laundry chute or something?
Yeah.
Like, falling in one back first so that your head is propped up and your legs are propped up.
Oh, so you're lawn chaired in it?
Yeah. That is the most terrifying thing I can possibly think of.
Yeah, have you ever watched Mr. Ballin on YouTube? No? Okay, so he just kind of goes through little like mini horror stories of shit like that happening. One of them was this woman had gotten into was dating a guy and was infatuated with him, and I don't know if he was just not really interested anymore or if he was just not responding to her texts that day, but either way, she went to his house to try to get in touch with him. Nobody was there, so she tried to figure out a way to sneak in. She snuck in through the chimney without realizing that chimneys are not typically like an even girth all the way down. Like the opening is not as wide at the top as it is at the bottom. It's it gets more narrow the lower that you get. So she is going down this chimney and eventually realizes that it is far too narrow for her to keep going. And she starts screaming for help, understandably. But as she inhales and then exhales screaming, she scooches down even farther to the point where now she doesn't have enough room to inhale, like her chest cannot expand and get in oxygen. So she suffocated by trying to sneak into this guy's house through the chimney, screaming for help, falling down too far to breathe, and then asphyxiated.
That's a crazy ass bitch.
That is a crazy ass.
If you're going through chimneys,
you're going
to
through
get inside,
fucking
you're
chimneys.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Just break a fucking window at that point.
Yeah, I mean, either way, you're already breaking in and entering. Like, what? I mean, maybe she just thought, well, he'll be less mad if a window isn't broken at least.
Yeah. Now I'm just covered in soot.
Yeah, now his house is full of soot. Like, what would you rather clean up? Soot everywhere or some broken glass? I'd rather fix the window.
Oh, what a crazy bitch.
But yeah, that type of shit horrifies me. I wouldn't consider myself completely claustrophobic because, like, being in a closet doesn't freak me the hell out. But if I'm in a space that I cannot move, hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it. Like, if I'm in a position where I genuinely cannot, like, just get any literal wiggle room, hate it.
Oh.
Immediately start to, like, panic.
Jake was telling me, and I don't know if it's Army Rangers or who it is, but they put you in like a barrel, and then they close the lid, and you're just tucked in this barrel for days. Part of like training, yeah.
Yikes. That sounds like either some Ranger shit or some SEAL shit.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Where they're just prepping you for like psychological trauma.
Oh,
well, this is the mind state you might be in if you're being tortured by ISIS. So, here you go.
You're gonna shit on yourself. You're gonna piss all over yourself, and you're just, oh, God. So,
I can't remember who is. I think there's one branch that like waterboards you.
Oh, okay.
As
seems like it'd be the Navy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it would be like the SEALs specifically,
right.
just because I don't think that that they're conditioning the average seaman for torture.
Yeah,
but SEALs maybe just because of the gravity of the missions that they're going on. It's like if you get captured while you're trying to assassinate Osama bin Laden, like you're gonna be fucking tortured.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna be tortured bad.
Tortured badly. Oh. That's where like Imperial Japanese level of tortures come into play, where it's like you're gonna have your dick chopped off and put in your own mouth before you're murdered. Yeah, which is a thing that they would do.
The Imperial Japanese would.
Oh yeah. I think they touched on that in the Pacific briefly. Or they shortly after getting onto the island, I can't remember which one, maybe Okinawa, but they come across a group of Americans that had been captured and killed, and they make it a point to showcase the fact that their genitals have been removed and placed in their own mouths. And it's just like, for fuck's sake. Jesus. How depraved do you, I mean, fucking without even getting into Unit 731 and the type of shit that they did, Jesus Christ. Like chemical testing on people, and shit like that.
Fuck.
Amputation, intentionally frostbiting people's body parts and then like shattering them off, that type of shit.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. It's like on the same level as the type of shit that Mengele was doing to twins. In the concentration camps. The angel of death who had a fascination with twins.
Disturbing.
You would do shit like torturing one of them to see if they like shared any type of pain response, or trying to chemically alter eye color by injecting chemicals into people's irises.
Jesus, man.
That type of stuff.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Can't you do that on dead bodies? Anyway, and as I understand it, the Japanese were like, they fucking, if you were captured, they did not respect that you at all, because they thought surrender was like just fucking pathetic and weak and right.
100%. Yeah, you're absolutely 100% on base with that. Yeah, they had a particular disdain for their POWs because in their eyes, like death before dishonor.
Right.
You know, that's why they would like kamikaze charge. If it came down to being captured or killed, they 9 times out of 10 would choose death. Yeah. Because they saw it as so disgraceful to surrender as opposed to just going down on your feet. Yeah. Biblecast.
Oh, shit.
Brought to you by Prime.
Brought to you by Prime, Westboro Baptist Church, Sandisk.
And Mac Computers. Worst sponsors ever.
And ball mason jars. You can stick one of these up your ass in no time at all. We have a tutorial on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, search up One Guy, One Jar.
One guy, one jar, worse than 2 girls, 1 cup?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 2 girls, 1 cup is disgusting, but you watch One Guy, One Jar, and it's just like you cringe in pain.
What is going through that guy's head? Like, he's mentally ill.
Oh, absolutely.
100% mentally ill, right?
Yeah.
No, there is not a human that is not mentally ill that would do that.
No, definitely not. It has to go beyond going for shock value.
Right.
At that point.
Right.
You know, like 2 girls, 1 cup, I can imagine that was purely for shock value. They got no gratification out of it.
Right.
This guy literally had shards of broken glass inside of him. and fished him out with his bare hands.
And he shit out blood and...
He was even shitting. I think he was just bleeding profusely.
Yeah. The fuck is wrong with you? Or like this, like there was a story of a guy who put a screwdriver in his penis hole. I don't know what you call that. The fucking urethra.
Yeah.
Yeah, put a screwdriver in there, got stuck, went to the hospital. That hurts. What would you rather have happen? Would you rather a screwdriver in the pee-pee hole or mason jar up the ass?
I think I'd rather mason jar up the ass rather
Really?
than screwdriver in the urethra. Permanent damage to your dick.
Just take a look at that mason jar there.
They come in different sizes.
That mason jar specifically.
That mason jar.
Oh.
It's literally hurting my lower stomach right now thinking about that.
Oh, good Lord.
You ever watch 1,000 Ways to Die?
I'm familiar with the show, but I never watched it.
One way that a woman died was she was pleasuring herself with a carrot, and the sharp end of it cut the inside of her vagina, and she bled to death.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Another one was this woman was dating a guy that she knew had he was particularly well endowed, and so to practice performing oral sex on him, she got a very large eggplant from her garden and was deep throating it, and it got stuck, and she suffocated on this giant eggplant that she was practicing blowing. Yeah.
I think I've asked you this before, but I don't recall your answer. I probably know your answer, but if you could suck your own dick, would you? You said no, right?
Nah. Because it's like pleasure versus... I wouldn't be able to get over the fact that there's a dick in my mouth to the point that I could actually enjoy it. Like, at the same time, yeah, I'm getting my dick sucked, but there's a dick in my mouth. It's like, there's a cutoff there.
Oh, man, I've tried it a couple of times. Have you ever tried it or no?
No, I mean, not that I can remember. I know for a fact I'm not flexible enough to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, just in trying to, like, do certain stretches where you're trying to, like, you know that stretch where your legs are open and you're trying to get your head, like, as close to the floor as
Pancake?
possible?
Yeah.
Maybe that's called pancake.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, I mean, I know I can't do that. So I don't know.
I would really like to be able to suck my own dick. Because in my mind, it's like, okay, I'm already comfortable with putting a dick in my hand. There's a dick in my hand.
Yeah, but that's different.
So will you put my dick in your hand?
I wouldn't put your dick in my hand.
Why not?
Because it's your dick.
Okay.
I mean, I'm reaping no benefit there. I'm just giving you a hand job.
Well, you're pleasuring your friend. I mean, that's some benefit.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure. I'm making the homie happy.
And the homie sexual.
Like, where do you draw the line there?
Okay, so you have a dick, you have your dick in your hand.
Yeah.
And that's not gay to have a dick in your hand.
Well, the problem with me sucking my own dick is not that, well, that's gay, bro. It's the fact that there's, like, that's not why having a dick in my mouth is the problem. It's the fact that that's not a pleasurable experience to me. It's like I have a dick in my mouth. It's not about it being gay. It's just about the fact that I don't want a dick in my mouth. Like, I have to hold my dick to pee every day.
Right.
At no point do I just for a non-sexual reason have to put a dick in my mouth. Like, that's just never something that comes into play, ever.
You're brushing your teeth and you're...
Yeah. Yeah, I've never gotten an extra large toothbrush to simulate that.
Yeah, all right. I could get over it pretty quickly. Maybe at first I'd be like, oh, this is kind of weird. I wouldn't be saying it because a dick would be in my mouth, but I'd be thinking it. This is kind of weird.
Oh, weird.
Oh, so that's what it tastes like. Yeah, it would take me a second. I would be like, oh, this is kind of weird, and then I'd get used to it pretty quickly.
What about when you bust?
Well, then I'll take it out of my mouth.
That's another thing. What if it happens quickly and unexpectedly?
Well, I'll know when I'm about to go.
But what if it's so quick that you can't get it out?
I'm that good. My mouth is that good.
I mean, you know yourself better than anybody else.
It would be probably the best blowjob I've ever gotten in my life.
Have you ever gotten a hand job that was better than your own masturbatory?
Certainly
exactly.
Not.
So, I mean, what if oral sex is the same way?
And awesome.
It's just so good that you can't even, you cannot get it out in time.
There's no way I'm not getting it out in time.
But what if there is a way? And now you've just come in your own mouth.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's okay? You're not going to be reviled by the flavor of cum in your mouth?
Chicks do it all the time. Or, they can handle it.
I mean, they can handle it, but I mean, that doesn't have any bearing on whether or not I would enjoy the flavor of semen.
If chicks can do it, I can do it.
It's not about whether or not you can do it. It's about whether or not you want to do it.
No, I don't want to, but I'm not going to come in my own mouth.
But you might, though.
No. I've never... There's no way I couldn't get it out of my mouth in time because I would feel the feeling coming.
Phrasing.
Great topic. I would feel the cum coming. Come down my chimney. And I would...
But not too far because you might asphyxiate.
Yeah. Ooh, phrasing. And I could get it out of my mouth. Let's assume guaranteed, I would not come in my mouth.
What if you just pre a little bit?
That's okay. That's understandable.
See, that's
different. Yeah, you're right. You're right there.
These are all of the things coming to my mind where it's like, would you suck your own dick if you could? It's like, no, and these are the reasons. First of all, having a dick in my mouth is the displeasure of just having a dick in my mouth is going to outweigh the pleasure of getting my dick sucked. Second of all, might come in my own mouth. I don't want either of those things.
The pre-cum is a fair point. I would not want pre-cum in my mouth.
Yeah. And that one is like unavoidable. I wouldn't say unavoidable. It's mostly unavoidable.
Pretty unavoidable, yeah. Can pre-cum get people pregnant?
It can.
I didn't think it could.
It can. Yeah, it's cum.
It's pre.
It's it's not, dude. It's pre. No. Yeah, no, it absolutely can.
Sponsored by Prime.
Sponsored by Prime. And Westboro Baptist Church. Suck your own dick today. They fully align with all of our beliefs.
Yeah. They suck their own dicks on a regular basis.
They do, and that's why they're so anti-gay. They're just trying to really, really throw people off the trail of their own homosexual urges.
Yeah, they're what's the word? Projecting.
Exactly. Yeah, they're projecting.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't want pre-cum in my mouth. But I will say this. I'm just going to be completely honest with everyone watching. If there was a way that I could suck my own dick 100%, I would do it. Often. Potentially every day. Potentially twice a day.
Potentially twice a day.
Yeah. Imagine someone walks in on that. Walking in on you masturbating. Whis walked in on me jerking off one day. That's one thing. That's like, yeah, we jerk off.
Yeah.
A guy sucking his own dick, that's a crazy thing to walk into.
Yeah, I almost wouldn't even feel ashamed if somebody walked in on me masturbating regularly.
Yeah.
It'd be awkward for sure.
Yeah.
But, I mean, having my own dick in my mouth would be beyond embarrassing. That would be like one of those situations where you walk out and you're just like, never speak of this again. And you hope that they're like, never speak of this again. And you just move on with your life.
Oh, man.
But walking in on me masturbating, it's just like...
Another Tuesday.
Sorry, bro. I didn't want you to see that. But, I mean, I know you did it earlier today, too.
Like when I walked in on you at your apartment at Potomac.
Oh, and I was completely naked. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even... But it would be the same thing, right? Like, even though I wasn't masturbating, it's just like, hey, you walked in on me naked, whatever. We're all naked sometimes. Fucking what? I don't give a shit.
It was funny the way you were because you were squatted down like.
Yeah. Well, because I had just gotten out of the shower, so I was still like damp. So I didn't want to sit in my cold ass leather chair. So I was like squatted in front of my computer, I can't remember what I was even doing, but, just what the fuck ever while I was waiting to air dry a little bit more before I put my clothes on. And you caught me completely off guard because you always text me
right.
on the way, but this time you just walked in and I was just like, oh shit. And I immediately got up and started laughing my ass off after you closed the door. It wasn't like, fuck, he saw me naked. It was just so fucking funny. But it would almost be the same thing if somebody walked in on me jacking off. But if somebody walked in on me sucking my own dick, I would be immediately like, I would feel that hot wave of shame go down my back. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like, it feels like you're about to start sweating. Yeah. You almost do.
Yeah.
But
that's when Wiss walked in on me jerking off. He goes, it was so funny because I always lock my door. Always. And the one night I don't lock my door, he goes, hey, quit jerking off in there. And then he walks in and I'm jerking off. And I come out and he goes, sorry, dude. Didn't mean to do that.
I didn't actually know you were jerking off.
Yeah, I was just joking.
Oh, man.
Oh, I guess we're already talking about it. I might as well say this on camera. Strangest thing I've ever masturbated into was a banana peel. Felt really good.
I've never tried that. I don't think I've ever masturbated into a food item.
Felt good.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, it felt good.
I mean, it definitely, I would imagine it feels more like a vagina than your hand.
Yeah. Just put it in the microwave for a little bit. And
Did you?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you put effort into that.
Yeah. But now the tough part was, thank God I didn't get caught. I would have felt that hot wave of shame.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't leave food in my room for obvious reasons. So I had to like sneak the banana peel out and like as if nothing had happened. It was a strange time in my life. I was maybe 19 years old. Pretty strange.
Yeah. I'd say sock for me. I don't know so people don't consider that strange. I think it's strange.
I think so too. Yeah.
It's like you got to wear that. Like it's an article of clothing that you're putting on,
And it seems like it would be uncomfortable doing it.
But like in the act?
Yeah. How'd you do it?
Just dick in the sock. I mean,
and then just stroking it outside, like sock.
Yeah, hand on sock, sock on penis.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, it doesn't feel great because it's rough on the inside.
It's rough.
Unless you've got silk socks, like it's not going to feel great. And if you've got silk socks, do not come in your silk socks.
What mental home are you in if you have silk socks? Who wears silk socks?
I mean,
that's crazy.
That would be fantastic. Feeling on your feet.
You're going to slip all over the place.
Probably. Well, maybe. That's a joke in Archer at one point where, hey, I forget. Have you ever watched Archer?
A couple episodes, but never got.
Oh, yeah. You said you couldn't get into the art style, I think.
Yeah, they just didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
But I know it's a funny show.
Yeah, well, at one point, he and Archer and somebody else are like running away from the KGB, and they make a jump on like a shitty, janky fire escape, and it falls apart. And Archer is holding on to the fire escape, and Barry is holding on to Archer's feet, and he starts slipping off, and he's like, oh, Archer, I'm slipping. And he's like, yeah, probably because I'm wearing silk socks, Barry. And he's like, why are you wearing silk socks? And he just goes, is that a serious question? Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to try them then.
I'd like to. I mean, like silk socks, silk underwear probably feel pretty goddamn good.
Yeah, nice and cool, breezy.
Yeah, nice and smooth, soft.
Yeah, I sleep on satin, it's close to silk, but it's satin sheets. They feel great.
Yeah.
I like cotton.
Yeah, I just have like regular jersey cotton sheets.
Yeah, those are fine, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't have any complaints.
Yeah.
I've had in the past rougher cotton sheets that I didn't like, but the ones I have now are basically just like a t-shirt, which, if I can wear it for 16 hours, I can lay down on it and be comfortable.
You can put it over your nipples. I mean, hell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The nipple, that's kind of my Turing test for a shirt. Well, that and my armpits.
Yeah, for me it's the armpits.
Yeah.
Does the crease annoy the shit out of my armpits?
Yeah.
Which that's why I basically just wear the same shit all the time, because it's like if I find one thing that is really comfortable to me, I buy several of them.
I'm totally on board for that way of thinking, and I'm totally on board for that. Like, why fucking get all this extra other shit? It works. You've got the thing that works.
Yeah, and I have a couple of, like, this shirt. I have one of this shirt, 'cause, I mean, first off, it was a gift, so I didn't.
It's a cool shirt. I like that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a gift from Alex, a birthday present. Where does it say? I think it says the Yod Father somewhere, because it's a Yadier Molina shirt.
Thou shalt not steal.
Thou shalt not steal. Yeah, I love that. But
let me go to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah. But as far as like plain black shirts go, buy like 10 of them.